Hello everybody, hello, Paul here. Let's continue on with our DOS game tradition because hell, this is a lot of fun. This is a game called Shooting Gallery that came out in 1990. Even though it says here it's 1995, it's just like the most recent version. Now this one here says it was on sale for $15 plus $2 in shipping and handling, but that actually used to be $25 back in 1990 during its original release. Now, oddly, before I talk too much about my history with the game and what it's all about, the guy who made this game, and it's like one guy and maybe his friends and family making the sound effects and things, still is selling this game. This game is still for sale. It's not actually considered abandonware by any stretch. Abandonware being a game that's been around for so long, they never really bothered to keep up with the trademark and the copyright, so if you want it, it's yours. This is still shareware. This is still real, de facto, by Webster's Dictionary, shareware, which you can get, you can buy, but then if you want the actual game, even though this is back in 1995, it's still going to cost you $15, and I believe you can only get it by sending the guy an actual check in the mail, but I think online you can probably do it by credit cards or whatever. Anyway, so Shooting Gallery, it's pretty straightforward. As you can tell, it's just a point-and-click little shooting gallery. All the points and stuff are right down there below. You get time bonus and ammo bonus. This game, I think a lot of people have played this one. A lot of people I talk to remember it, which is kind of bizarre. But again, back in the shareware days, it was free, so a lot of people checked it out, and they were just spread like wildfire. So there's a couple of different modes. I'll come back to the story in a second. I don't want to go too far behind, but there's the sort of the classic shoot the ducks as they go by, and now the clay pigeons. I'm horrible at all of these, by the way. I get a really good start on these. Look at me shooting those clay pigeons. I look like I was born to do it, and then once you miss one, your streak is all gone. It's done. You got nothing. And remember, trying to do this before the advent of optical and laser mice, and doing this with the classic ball bearing with the two little rollers, you know what I'm talking about? That was hard enough because it was like you always had to like and move it around. But it also got gummed up with crap and dirt and debris and detritus and other really nasty things you don't want to think about. That was a huge handicap with this game. And now that I'm playing this in my adult years with a laser mouse, high-tech stuff, a Bluetooth wireless laser mouse. Never thought about that stuff back in 1995. You'd think I would be doing great. And I'm not doing bad, but you figure in the interim, 22 years, I would have improved a little bit. Anyway, let me go back in time a little bit. So let's go back to the Hugo House of Horrors review. I was talking about that time I spent at my uncle's house and whatever. And Hugo was the only game that I could play. Well, there was a couple of them. And this was the other one. And I played this for hours, really, trying to beat my score. Most specifically, the very last game that we'll come to, because there's a bunch of little mini games. This is the same one as the first, except it's a little bit faster, and the stakes are a little bit higher. A couple other interesting things. It does maintain your high scores, which is nifty. It's one of the first games I can remember playing that had, well, no, that's not quite fair, but it has multiplayer. Not online multiplayer, of course, but it's got 4-player. I guess you just kind of take turns with it. I guess the same level plays over and over again, and it's like a hot seat multiplayer or whatever. It's like, no, I missed the time bonus. It's very touchy, this thing. Once you get the timing down on either one of the levels, you're fine, and you got it. The tricky part is you always want to stick to the top row because it's moving fast, and if you can hit them, if you get the timing down, it's like bam, 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 the points rack up, and it's not really worth going for the high-ticket items down below. I never figured out, I don't know, all the really high point stuff goes down to the bottom really slow, and then a lot of the small stuff whizzes by really fast on the top level. And I don't know, my math, you figure going with the top one, it would just, anyway, whatever. So now you gotta do double skeet shoots, which is even worse. Now, the other thing about this shooting gallery is, well, the shareware. Now, the shareware really does give you everything. There's nothing else to it. What you see is what you get. Getting the full version won't add anything to your experience. However, this being the advent of the ad-lib and the sound blaster and things that did not sound like they were coming out of a tiny little PC speaker, which in fact they were, and that's exactly how I played it, until I got a sound blaster card and a computer, and then I reinstalled this game just so I could hear all the sounds that were being played in my favorite old games. When you register the entire game, the amount of sound effects, apparently, I've never actually heard them, just multiplies like 18 times. Every little thing has its own little sound effect that they add in there, and I believe these guys did their own Foley work. I mean, listen to these like oohs and ahs. You can never get them through the window pane. I hate that part. Yeah, some of them are stock sound effects, and I think the other ones are just Nels and his family grunting into the microphone. And you also notice that little pumpkin down there. I'm not sure if that's always there or just that the game reads your internal clock and knows that it's around October time. And no, shooting doesn't do anything to it. I tried. This was my favorite part because it's actually very difficult. These goddamn window panes are the reason why, too. Shooting everybody normally is great, but everything moves so fast. But the good part is that you can really easily tell a civilian from a bad guy because all the bad guys wear exactly the same thing. And I also don't know what the stipulations for winning and losing are. Like, I'm not sure if you have to shoot a certain amount of bad guys or do you have to get a right score before the time is out, because I just ran out of time, and now these guys come out and they laugh at me, and they're like, hey, yeah, we got them, yeah, oh boy, yeah, we're all cowboys and stuff, hey, what you gonna do? So, I try it again later, but actually, I did pretty good. I don't have a benchmark to see what my actual score was, and here we go. There, 18,451. That looks pretty epic, right? Well, let's find out. I'm actually going to go back in time. Let me show you my second one here. I'm going to speed things up a little bit and find out if I can actually beat my score. And I'm also going to put a copy of this shareware game down below in the comments section. If you guys have DOSBox, I'll give you some instructions on how to run it if you need to. It's pretty easy, but go ahead and load this game up. Post your high scores. Let's have a little bit of a competition here. If you guys can beat my score, I'll go back and play it again, and I'm going to try and beat your score. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. It'll be a little activity for us all to enjoy. So the gauntlet has been thrown down. The power glove is at your feet. The power is yours. Oh, this clay shooting one is still my least favorite game. But honestly, though it's in fast motion, it really makes it look like I have razor reflexes. But yeah, I would hate to have to go back and play this game with the old-fashioned, like, crappy wired ball mouses, and that's before ball mouses. You heard it. Everything moves so fast that I never really had a chance to really concentrate on the what's worth the most amount of points. So I don't really play the game strategically. I just kind of hit everything. Though I think if I were to give the game a little bit more thought, like I say, okay, so the wreath is worth 30 because you can't hit the middle because it goes right through. And I always go for the thing that says hit me. Always, 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 because it's challenging me. You know, you can't, if someone throws something like that at you, you can't just let it slide. You're like, hit me. Stop trying to hit me and hit me. So you hit them, and it makes you feel kind of good. I don't know. But I think a lot of my memories of these old DOS games were born, I don't know, more out of necessity than boredom or even curiosity, really. My access to these games were actually kind of limited because I didn't have internet, I don't think, at that point. But I remember having like this little laptop and it could barely run anything. It was on like Windows 3.1. They just used it for word processing. But while my parents were taking classes or whatever, like I would be up in the dorm room and I would just while away just millions upon millions of hours playing like Commander Keen and not even Wolfenstein. There's just all those side-scrolling games. There's Duke Nukem style games. There's one I can't remember the name of. But I think, here we go. So in this one, I think I actually get enough points where the game is like, all right, you win. And everyone comes out to congratulate me. Do it, do it, do it, do it. There they go. Here we go with 26 seconds left on the top. And I think it adds like another 10 10,000 points to your score, which is pretty nifty. So yeah, I think that in and of itself pushed it over the limit. So this is going to be the score to beat right now, even though I know for a fact that the second this challenge goes out, the next day, someone's going to beat it, and I'm going to have to do this all over again. But hey, there it is, 24,821 points. That is the benchmark at which we're setting this. Go for it. Anyway, so my own personal nostalgia notwithstanding, let's talk a little bit more about the guy who made this. So Nels Anderson of 585 Edmonds Road in Framingham, what was that, Massachusetts? Yeah. So didn't let this game slide down and become some ancient piece of abandonware never to be seen again. No, you still can buy this game for $15. And there it is. It says sound card users. The shareware version has only a small sound library in order to save space. Register for the complete sound library. And if we look a little bit deeper into the credits, yeah, there they are. So there's the sound effects coordinator, David Pabst, Eric Pabst, Joanna Pabst. So it wasn't actually the guy, but probably just friends and friends of the family. And I did a little bit of digging about this. And see, here we go. Here's the new one. So now it's $4. Oh, wait, $22 for a deluxe version with a printed binder, which back in 1995 was $34.35. We do with inflation. That's crazy. So it's $4 shipping for the deluxe one. And then if you go to, it took me a long time to find it, but it's flightsim.com/Arcanum Computing. And the guy who made this game runs this site, which doesn't look like it's been updated since 1995. So, and here's all the old games that he made or had a hand in making. There's one called Superfly, which I'm kind of curious about. But the site that it's attached to, Flight Sim, is fairly up to date. It looks like it's been updated at least as recently as 2015. I guess just for flight simulator aficionados. How many of those guys still exist? God, you remember the days of the flight simulator? There's a game I should play. Oh, the old Microsoft flight simulators, those things were ridiculous. I was too young to enjoy them. But anyway, there it was. That was Shooting Gallery. Go down to the comments and check out the game. I'd love to see you guys do a high score that I need to beat. It'll be great. And as always, good night, jelly beans. Good night.